What's up guys, it's Caleb Thomas and we're back with another video. This one is very interesting. It's talking about the four main archetypes. Now this is something that's not my idea, but I'm using it from the book King, Warrior, Magician, and Lover. This book by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette explores four main archetypes and discusses the transformation from becoming a boy to a man. So I'm going to be summarizing that and adding some of my own feedback. We're going to be discussing how this process occurs and how men are shaped from boys. So first, we need to understand that masculinity inherently is not harmful. The world portrays masculinity as the enemy and that masculinity needs to die. Men need to become more emotional, connected with their feminine side. And to be honest, I disagree with that. You see, many households are suffering from a lack of a male father figure. The absence of a father growing up can tremendously change the trajectory of a boy becoming a man. So the ceremonials too that these boys are taught, going out and hunting with their fathers or doing things like that to transition them from a boy to a man, these rituals are missing. And instead, we end up not seeing boys become men and the world is run by boyhood. This is not good because although we think we're making progress, the world is filled with, immaturity, emotionally overreacting people that we're seeing nowadays. All these things that transition a boy to becoming a man, learning that knowledge, it's not there. We don't teach it in schools nowadays. And to be honest, most of the teachers in schools are women. And although that's not a bad thing, they don't have a strong male presence to guide young boys, and all they see is the feminine energy. So here we are. How can we fix it? Well, first, we can better understand what these archetypes are and how we can use them, because inherently we are them. We're a combination of these four traits that have made us the people we are today. And understanding which way we've been formed will allow us to guide ourselves from this point forward. But to be honest, masculinity is what we're missing. It's not emotional connection. It's not feminine energy. It's not just masculinity, it's mature masculinity. If we want society to move forward and to thrive, we need more mature men and women. But let's get straight into it. These are the four male archetypes. First, the king. The king is known for his leadership, responsibility, and order. He puts his people first and guides them to success. Second, the warrior, known for his courage, determination, and discipline. They're not afraid to stand up for what they want. Third, the magician. They use knowledge, wisdom, science, and transformation to make the world a better place for others. And finally, lover. They use emotions, words, empathy to connect with other people and move them forward. You see, a lot of the people we know in history that stand out in a bad way are the ones that don't have one of these traits. You see, the king is supposed to be the benevolent ruler, the provider, and the protector. They're a visionary for their people, and they make balanced decisions. Their people can trust them to make the right decision for the betterment of society and the world. But all of these traits have shadow aspects, and not using them right can lead to tyrants and abdicator type leaders like Adolf Hitler, Mussolini, any of these people that want to use their leadership for the wrong purposes. So as a boy's becoming a man, they need to understand that the king is an important trait, if not the most important. They need to embrace responsibility and maturity. They need to develop a sense of purpose and direction to guide themselves, to guide others. But the king's energy is one of the most important because the king is somebody that is what we see as masculine today. It's that main figure, the person we look up to guide us and to take our hand and lead us to success. All right, now let's break down the warrior some more. The warrior has positive traits of being resilient, focused, and not afraid to be determined to get what they want. They're an advocate for justice and they defend their values as well as others. Think of Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders. He's not afraid to stand up, speak out for what he wants, and back that up with his hands or his gun. He knows that he has the right and the ability to defend himself. He's been a war veteran. He's not afraid to use that persona of his to get what he wants and stand up for what's right in his mind. Now, using this for bad can be very dangerous. They're the people that become sadists and masochists, some of the worst people in society. They're the people that become, Vlad the Impaler or H.H. Holmes, the serial killer. If not treated correctly, they use their ability to be violent for bad purposes. And that's way too easy to do. So it's a fine line between using your determination and your ability to stand up for yourself in the right way and preventing that from falling down the wrong path. So as a boy's becoming a man, it's important to overcome challenges and set boundaries. Know what you want to use your ability to fight for. Know what fights to pick. You know, the fight on the playground, where you learn to stand up for yourself. That's an important one because it shows you that you have potential to put your foot down and say no. You learn to cultivate courage and perseverance through these challenges, and you become a man in the process. Not some man who's afraid to, talk to a girl at a bar, but a guy who's confident and knows what he wants. Girls appreciate that. All right, third, the interesting one in my mind, the magician. We see a lot of magicians, but we don't give them credit all the time. They're the person that uses creativity, insight, and problem solving to help make the world better, to help their people and society move forward. I always think of them like scientists nowadays because, magic isn't really the big thing. But people who invent things, people who make forward progress. Elon Musk making Tesla and using that establishment to better the world and, save the environment. That's an insane progress. And Elon Musk is known for his, wisdom and his ability to invent and lead people. So he's showing those traits of being that king and being that magician. Or think of like a coach on a team sitting down talking to the new players, showing them, how to get the skills and the abilities to make progress for their team. Okay, the only problem with the magician is using it for the wrong deeds. And the shadow aspect of the magician is the manipulator and the innocent. These people purposely withhold knowledge to get what they want and to put themselves first. Think of somebody who's like insider trading at a business. They know what the right moves to make are, but they choose to use that information to help themselves get ahead and hurt others in the process, taking their money. Or let's say a cult leader, right, that knows the way of the future and is guiding others toward a purpose that they know is wrong, but they're choosing to withhold the information about it being wrong so that they can have a bigger following and a bigger sense of respect. You see, the magician is important because it goes around the purpose of developing intellect and intuition. One of the highest traits a guy can be respected for is his intelligence. It also teaches a guy to foster adaptability and resourcefulness, how to use what you have to solve problems. So the magician develops intellect and intuition to make the world a better place by using what they have around them, being resourceful and fostering adaptability to solve these problems. They use their ability to think to become the leader. And sure, they get respect and admiration usually out of the process, but that's not why they do it. They do it because they know that becoming masculine, becoming a man, is built on their ability to guide society, guide others, kind of reflecting on that king energy. But if you use the magician right, you will gain respect in society. You will make the world a better place. You'll probably make a lot of money, and you'll be seen as a better man. Okay, finally, the lover. What is the lover? They're known for their sensitivity, emotional intelligence, and their vitality. They have an appreciation for art, beauty, and the aesthetics. They love the world around them, and they have that romantic, kind of Renaissance man sense about them. Think of like James Bond, who carries himself with that aura of like being high value, right? Being prestigious, being wealthy, being, honorable. They're that guy who like is the romantic, right? The shadow aspects of being the lover are being an addict and being impotent. There's somebody that becomes, derived on the sensual pleasure of the world around them and the people in it. It's the person crazy about just getting women all the time, getting hookups and being the lover to others, even though they're destroying their life in their process by becoming entirely focused on just trying to get laid. And not only is making your focus getting laid the problem, but it disrupts your life course because you're putting aside other very important things to be this fake lover, and it's very harmful. So as a boy's becoming a man, they need to cultivate relationships and self-expression. That's where you learn as the lover side emerges to find the boundaries of healthy relationships and how to respect women and even flirt with them. It's a fine line too, because you learn how to talk to people you're interested in romantically, but at the same time, you use that energy to not overstep the boundaries and become a better man in the process. So the lover is very important because they use their emotional connection to drive the world forward. This is like Nelson Mandela, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., all these people that can use emotions to connect and to instill their purpose upon others in a good way, not using it for bad. All right, imagine you have 4 pieces of metal. They're different colors, and you shave them into little metal shavings. You put them on a piece of paper. Take the paper and you're holding a magnet underneath it. And the magnets are driving these shavings around, mixing them together, and coming up with this image that you can only see on the top of the page. That's like the 4 archetypes. All you see is the result of who they are in the person that you are, but you don't necessarily see how they mix, what experiences build them or take them away, and how they actually impact you. We slowly over time start to see the archetypes. If you're older watching this video, you probably have a better understanding of which of these 4 traits you best identify with. I would say personally, I'm more of a lover and a king. I like to guide the big picture, and I also like to use emotion to connect with others. I'm trying to work on my warrior side, and I'm trying to work on my magician side. But you see this general picture on the sheet of paper, and you don't necessarily understand it. But seeing a video like this and understanding these archetypes gives you a better understanding of what you need to work on and how you can move forward. Again, society needs to change. We need to understand that we need to add more of these initiation processes. They're not bad for society, they're helpful. And you might think, joining the Boy Scouts or joining a gang is good for initiating you into a man. But all these programs do and these groups do is shoot you toward the philosophy that you need to man up, which is a patriarchal idea that's just harmful. You need to understand that there are right and wrong ways to do things. Here's the quote I wrote down I'm going to give you. When the boy ego is killed and the man emerges, by processes which transform the kid, the 4 archetypes emerge for the better. So I want you to look back at yourself, reflect on who you think you are and what your archetypes are. And I want you to maybe comment them or just write them down on a piece of paper. I think understanding ourselves a little bit better will come from understanding our archetypes. With that said, this is Caleb Thomas.